KeyForge has a number of cards that are infamous for their power, with things like Control the Weak being just one example that comes to mind. With the Winds of Exchange card pool revealed after KeyForge Celebration, this doesn't seem to be a trend that'll stop anytime soon, because today I've got 8 cards from the new set that look absolutely insane. So far, the set overall looks like a lot of fun, with these cards being super enjoyable for the ones playing them, and pain for the one up against them. Let's get started. First up is a name that will surely be feared in high-level decks, that of Briozorch, a 6-power rare Unfathomable creature that reads, when your opponent plays an action card, instead of resolving its play effect, destroy the creature on your left flank. With the right protection, such as some taunt and a ward, and plenty of creatures to its left, Briozorch has the ability to shut some turns down, negating important Ember control cards or board control or even critical combo pieces. If the opponent has their Genka play ready to go, they'll need to deal with Briozorch first. Your opponent can't take you off check with Look Over There or Doorstep to Heaven, or wipe your board with Gateway to Dis. Until he's completely exposed, direct damage like Stomp can't even get through to him, and 6 power is a lot to fight off the board. Combine that with something like a bunch of Prospector token creatures to his left, and you'll be drawing a card every time the opponent attempts to play an action. Like I said before, Briozorch will need some protection and a decent sized battle line to be truly crippling, but even without all that, he's still incredibly dangerous. Also in Unfathomable, we have Aembermedes the Damned, who reads, play, make a token creature. While you control a token creature, your opponent cannot forge keys. Straight up, your opponent cannot forge any keys, whether that's through their Forge a Key step or a key cheat, while Aembermedes and a friendly token creature are on the board, and this guy's only an uncommon. Like Briozorch, Aembermedes will need some protection to be a real threat, but he still has the ability to stop a key when the timing is right. And if your deck doesn't generate many token creatures, he won't be nearly as effective, but again, if he's protected by taunts and wards and he's super power boosted, your opponent will be in quite the predicament. Imagine them throwing Briozorch in the mix, then not even their action cards will be able to reach him. Our third card is once again from Unfathomable, which, with cards like these, I predict will be a top house in this set. The card is Abyssal Sight, which reads, play, destroy a friendly creature. If you do, look at your opponent's hand and choose a card from it. That player discards that card. Your opponent has a critical combo piece in hand, or a key piece of Ember control or board control, just remove it from their hand entirely. It's the next step in the evolution of Brain Drain, this time not putting it back on top of their deck, but all the way into their discard pile, in a much harder to reach location. It's insane that it's a common, and it's the sort of card you will need to be scanning your opponent's deck list for every time you enter a Winds of Exchange match. Next, we've got a rare Ecodon upgrade Insurance Policy. It really does a fantastic job of forcing your opponent into a tough situation, reading, play, lose 1 Ember. This creature gains destroyed if it is not your turn, gain 4 Ember. And that play ability isn't even a must lose either, like True Brew. You can still play it even if you don't have any Ember. I also like how you only get the benefits of the destroyed effect if it's not your turn, so it relies entirely on your opponent taking it out, and it's not something you can really do on your own whenever you want. And let's just say there are a ton of great targets to throw Insurance Policy on in this set. High value creatures that your opponent absolutely needs to deal with, like Briozorch perhaps, but will end up giving you 2/3 of a key if they act on it. Also in Ecodon is Trade Secrets, an uncommon that reads, play, discard any number of Ecodon cards from your hand. Steal 1 Ember for each card discarded this way. With a hand full of Ecodon cards, you could steal 3, 4, or even 5 Ember with this action, and that sort of massive swing rivals even those found in House Shadows. You do lose out on playing those other Ecodon cards you had in hand, so you've got to judge for yourself whether it's better to lose the cards for the steal, or to actually play and use them for their effect. And notice this card doesn't have Omega or anything like that, so you could play it in the middle of your turn and still use the creatures and artifacts you have on board, such as Transitory Philosopher or Gemcoat Vendor to steal even more. Trade Secrets has insane potential, as long as it doesn't get stopped by an Odoak or a Cephaloist. Moving into Sanctum, we've got an upgrade, the Halo of Enlightenment. It reads, play, make a token creature. This creature cannot be attacked while its controller controls a token creature. Like with Aembermedes, this card makes terrifying use of the presence of friendly token creatures. In fact, throw this upgrade on Aembermedes, and your opponent has a major problem on their hands. Essentially, your opponent now has to deal with every token creature you have on the board before they can even begin fighting whatever you put Halo of Enlightenment on, making it a great target for capturing Ember onto, or even stacking on effects that make more token creatures, like Iron X Propaganda. Obviously, the creature is still vulnerable to direct removal, but if the opponent lacks that sort of destruction, Halo of Enlightenment will be a real pain for them. Next up is a Starlines upgrade, a really interesting card called Mirror Shell that reads, play, make a token creature. This creature gains after fight, after reap. For the remainder of the turn, each friendly token creature is a copy of this creature. The potential of this card is huge and will undoubtedly see some insane turns in the future. Essentially, slap this upgrade on a creature of yours with a powerful effect, such as CXO Tabor or Guiltspine Netcaster, fight or reap with it, and every one of your token creatures becomes a copy of that creature with Mirror Shell on it for the remainder of the turn. You could put it on Aquilia lone hero, so all your token creatures become Aquilia, all able to use its Omni ability on that turn for a massive capture play. There are so many possibilities and cool effects that can be multiplied by Mirror Shell. Let me know what cool plays you can think of in the comments. Our last card for today comes from House Saurian, Tectonic Shift. It reads, play, divide each player's battle line in half as evenly as possible without changing the order of the creatures. For each battle line, destroy each creature in one of the halves. This is one of the coolest, most unique board control cards I've ever seen. Both players will have to be conscious of how they build their battle lines when this card is present, ensuring that they don't throw all their more valuable creatures on one side of the board. I think it might be a tough card to play much of the time, but there's no other card quite like it in the game, which is why I chose to include it. I definitely can't wait to see it mutilate some battle lines in the future. And so there we have it, 8 cards from Winds of Exchange that look pretty ridiculous. Some of them definitely have the potential to be real game breakers, and will undoubtedly show up in many top level Winds of Exchange decks, such as Abyssal Sight and Bryozorch. Let me know what you guys think of these cards in the comments below, and what cards you might add to the list. And before we end the video, I've just got a couple things to point out. First off, on Saturday, February 18th, the next qualifier event of the KeyForge Premier League is taking place, and it'll be live streamed right here on the Aembermedes YouTube channel, so be sure to tune in at 11 AM Eastern that day to watch. Or if you'd rather participate, I'll leave a link to the KFPL Discord so you can sign up and get more details on the event. Secondly, I had the honor of being featured in a creator spotlight over on the KeyForge Reddit, so if you're interested in seeing my answers to a number of awesome interview questions, be sure to head over there and check it out. Once again, I'll leave a link in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all again in the next one. See you later.